योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
This is Suresh Balutagi, Deputy Librarian, J.R.D. Tata Memorial Library from Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. First of all, I would like to start my presentation, today's presentation, by saying a thanks to Professor Atul Bhattji and his team for inviting me and for giving this opportunity to present in this today's presentation in the refresher course in Library and Information Science on building next generation academic libraries, preservances and transformation. And also I would like to thanks to the Director of UGC HRDC of Gujarat University. And today's topic of my presentation is keep score of what matters and use of metrics for research impact. For continuing my presentation, here I would like to mute my video so that I concentrate on my presentation. Here I'm moving to the first slide, that is the content. This is the outline of my presentation. Here in this my presentation, I'm going to cover about the outcomes and the introduction, what is research metric, and why research metrics are important, and using and the requirement and needs of the research metric, and the challenges in using research metrics, and the benefits of using the research metrics, and the types of metrics that covers journal metrics, article metrics, author metrics, book metrics, institutional metrics, alternative metrics, and the metric tools to measure the impact, which are the free resources or subscribed resources that I'm going to explain or discuss in this metric tools to measure impact. And at the end, the conclusion that I'm going to cover. I'm moving to next slide. That is outcomes. Here, after this presentation, the participants of this refresher course will learn what is research metric, the benefits of using research metric, and challenges in using research metrics. And participants will learn and understand different types of research metrics. And then participants will learn the use of different metric tools in measuring research impact. Okay, then now I am moving to what is a research metric. We'll understand what are different different metrics, and first we'll discuss on what is research metrics. Here the metrics means, in simple, it's a measurement, it's a scaling. Scaling means anything. It can be the resources in our libraries. And research metrics that are used to analyze, assess, measure the impact of the article, author, journal, books, chapter in books, or institutional performances. Nowadays, the institutions are also using these research metrics to analyze, for display, demonstrate their performances and comparing their performances with other institutes. And I'm moving to the next slide. That is the same in what is research metrics. Here, I'm covering and discussing about the quantitative indicators of research performance, means for the outputs. Here, the citations of the publications and impact factor of the journals, these are the important indicators, and counts of co-authorship or collaboration with international and industry researchers, and collaboration publications, number of publications, research income amount and source, the supervision of doctoral students, the PhD students and postdoctoral fellows, the completion rates for PhDs, the awarded PhDs numbers, and alternative metrics, alt metrics, the new indicators of measuring the research, that are the important indicators in measuring our research. So now we have discussed about what is research metric and understood the different indicators, what we can assess and analyze. And now I'm moving to why research metric. What is the need? What are the requirements of using the research metrics? Why you can use? Here, we can use the research metrics for analyzing the performance of our research outputs. And researchers use metrics to assess the quality and impact of their research, as well as the impact of their research, and in collaboration with the national and international researchers. Means the collaboration publications, it may be a collaboration research, and institute need these metrics to know its value, where it stands for, and benchmarking with other institutes, and also assess to its faculty members how they are performing. And ranking agencies nowadays, as I mentioned in my previous slide, they are also using these metrics as a research methodology for ranking the different institutes. So these are the requirements and major important points where the research metrics, the purpose of research metrics, where we can use. And I'm moving to the challenges in using the different research metrics, the different challenges and the problems that we are facing in using the different research metrics. The first of all, this is growing metrics range from the traditional impact factor to altmetrics, H-index, and beyond. There are several new metrics have emerged. The first question arises in the mind of researcher is, what are these means? Why we have to use, and how to use, how to calculate, how to use, how these can be used to measure the impact of articles, journals, authors, books, and how to evaluate the institutes. That are the important questions arises in the mind of researchers. And also, are these suitable, and which one is perfect, which one is proper, which one is correct metric to use. And also nowadays the institutes are pressurizing the researchers to use these different metrics and show their performance and evaluate their performances. And also the ranking agencies also using these different new metrics to evaluate, to analyze the performance of the institutes in ranking. That may be in India, the NRF, the THE, QS, and Shanghai ranking, like other different ranking agencies, they are also using different ranking methods for ranking the institutes in national and international levels. In the challenges, we can see there are one more challenge, important challenge, that are like the use the different research databases, how they are providing the outputs in their websites. Here, for an example, to see the research output of Professor C.N. Rao, the Bharat Ratna, ex-director and the faculty of our Indian Institute of Science, you can see his publications and his research output and citations. The Scopus, you can see the number 1659. In Web of Science, you can see the 1761. In Google Scholar, Publons, as well you can see. And the number of citations, you can see the different number of citations in different databases. And H-index is also the different. So here the question arises for the researchers or for the librarians or the evaluators, which database or which metric we have to use, which is correct metric. That is an important question and the challenge that our research are now facing. Now, I'm moving to the answer for these challenges, and I'm moving to the next slide that will discuss about the benefits of using these metrics. Here, the metrics set the parameters, the indicators, which can be used as a form of assessment. We can use these research metrics for granting agents by the granting agencies for granting research funds, and institutes also use for granting the funds, and awarding academic rank and tenure, for promotions, for fixing the new scales, and for recruitment, and for research performance evaluation, and selecting the resource person for the conferences, workshops, and refresher courses like this, and inviting the experts for the talk or for the special lecture, and to assess the return on investment by the institutes for the research, because they are investing for the funds. To know the research on investment, these metrics can be effectively used. And there are several other benefits. Here I have covered very few benefits. And also this can be in our library, we can use this for saving the money by subscribing the top quality journals only, and renew of these journals by evaluating their performances. And if they are high quality, we can renew it or we can cancel it. We can make the decisions by evaluating by using these research metrics. And now I'm moving to the types of research metric. There are several types of research metrics available. In that, the important ones are the following: the journal metrics, article metrics, author metrics, book metrics, institutional metrics, and alternative metrics. These are the name represents the evaluation metrics for the different sources. Like journal metrics will evaluate the journals, article will evaluate the articles, and author metrics for evaluating the performance of authors, books for evaluating the performance or the citations or the effect of book, and institutional metrics to evaluate the performance or its collaboration and its benchmarking with the other institutes that we can use. Then alternative metrics, these are the new metric tools emerged that can now used as a effective tools in our in measuring the research. And from types of research metric, I am moving to the first or research metric, that is journal metrics. These very important metrics, these are used to evaluate the journals. This can be used for evaluating the journal for our subscriptions, and authors can use these metrics to evaluate the journal for selecting the journals to publish their articles. And first here, the journal metrics used to measure the impact of journals for their performances, and it can be for comparing with other journals to know the quality, as I mentioned, for the publishing or renewals or for our subscriptions. I'm moving to the next slide. That is the important or we can call it as a major journal metrics. The first metric here is an impact factor. And the second one is Eisen factor score, immediacy index, cited half-life, SciMago journal rank, SNIP, that is called as SNP, and the next one is a site score. And other metrics also which we can use for measuring the journals are the citing half-life, impact per publications, article influence score, etc., etc. There are several other scores, but here I have listed the important journal metrics. Now I'm going to discuss one by one these major research metrics. The first metrics here I'm going to discuss is the journal impact factor. That is designed by Eugene Garfield. That is the journal impact factor. This is very widely used metric, well-known measure, and impact factors used by the librarians to see the quality of journals for subscription and renewals. And as I mentioned in the beginning, during the discussion, researchers also use this impact factor for selecting the journals to publish their articles. Here the journal impact factor means the number of citations to a journal in the current journal citation reports, that is a journal citation report year, to items published in the previous 2 years, divided by the total number of scholarly items, articles, that may be including articles, reviews, and published in the journal in the previous 2 years. So the formula for calculating the journal impact factor here is very simple. That is A divided by B equals to the JCR year is the impact factor. For an example, for calculating the impact factor of 2019 journals, the formula is A, here the A equals to the number of items, number of times articles published in 2017 and 18 were cited by indexed journals during 2019. Means the citations in the year 2019 for the publications published in the year 2017 and 18. that are divided by B, that is the total number of citable items published in the year 2017 and 18. The result is the impact factor for the respective JCR year. That is called as a impact factor of the year. For example, here, as I mentioned, it is 2019 impact factor. As I mentioned, these can be used to determine the quality based on journal impact factor or journal ranking for ranking the journals. By impact factor wise ranking journals, we can use this one. And a publication is indexed in Web of Science. These factors can be found in Web of Science and Insights JCR, that you can find it. Now I'm moving to the next journal metric, important metric, well known, and nowadays this is highly used by many researchers and journal databases, that is site score. And here the site score, citations to a journal in a given year to the documents in that journal from the previous 3 years divided by the total number of documents, not just the scholarly documents, all the publications published in the journal in the previous 3 years. Here just I would like to mention, in the journal impact factor, it is considered 2 years publication in the 3rd year citation, means the 2-year publications and their citations in the 3rd year. But here 3-year publications are considered in the 4th year for the evaluation. Site score is based on the Scopus database and can be found in Scopus. It can be found in Scopus and Scivols. You can find these site scores for the journals. Here, for calculating the site score formula, for example, for the 2019 site score value is equals to A divided by B. Here equals to A is citations in 1 year to all the documents published in previous 3 years. Here the citations for the articles published in 3 years, and that is divided by B, all the documents, all document types same as A, whatever the citations we have considered for the documents, that has to be covered here, and that publications published in previous 3 years. That is the result, whatever the comes, that is the site score of the journal, which you can see it in the right side image that I have mentioned. For the 3-year publication, here the example is 2016, 17, 18, and the citations in 2019, that is A, and B, the publications in blue color. You can see the B colored box, colored highlighted boxes, that is 2016 and 17, 18 publications. Now I'm moving to the next journal, important journal metrics, that is SciMago journal rank, that is called as a SJR. That is very well known research metric and widely used for ranking and to know the quality of the journals. Here SciMago journal rankings can be found on its website, and this uses Scopus database. And this SciMago journal ranking provides the ranking to the journals country wise too and journal wise, that you can find on its site. And there is a formula for SciMago journal rank. It follows a formula, that is, for the calculating the JCR ranking for the year 2019 will be the year 2019 weighted citations to 2018, 2017, 2016 articles, means the published articles during these 3 years, divided by the total number of articles published in the year 2018, 17, and 16. So the result will be the rank of the journal that is followed in SciMago journal ranking, for ranking the journals. The next metric for the journals is the immediacy index. This you can find in Web of Science and Insights. That is the average number of times an article is cited in the year it is published. So this is another journal metrics. And next one is the cited half-life. Here you can find the median age of the items cited in the current JCR year. And this this one used to for in a particular for a particular title to evaluate the particular journal title, and this also you can find in Web of Science and the JCR. And I'm moving to the next metric, that is Eugen factor score, that you can find this in Web of Science JCR. Here, the Eugen factor score that calculates this total journal's total importance to the scientific community using the specific year citations to the articles in the previous 5 years. This considers the previous 5-year citations for the articles, and this excludes the self citations. That is important part here is that excludes the self citations to maintain the quality. And the next metric is a source normalized impact per paper, that is SNIP, that is called as a SNP. That is here the formula is used number of citations in the present year to the publications in the past 3 years and normalized to the correct for differences between the scientific field. Here the citations are normalized to correct the differences. That is an important point here. And this SNP indicator is created by Professor Henk Moid at CWTS, Center for Science and Technology Studies, University of Leiden. As I mentioned, this one SNP can be found in Scopus database for analyzing the journal metrics that you can use this one. Now I am moving to the next metric, that is the author metrics, that is used by most of the researchers for evaluating, for demonstrating their research output, their research quality and impact of their research. And this can be used to track the work is whether it is cited, how it is cited, how it is performing by the researchers and authors. And this can also be used to apply for grants, other funding applications. And also it can be used for enhancing the research profiles and promote their research to potential collaborators and investors, means for collaborating publications and collaborating research and research grants. And also this can be used to prepare progress reports for research. The outputs, the impacts of the research can be used to prepare the progress report to show the effect of the research and to support it for promotion and tenure applications, means like promotions and any increments, other evaluation process. These metrics can be used for analyzing the researcher or author, to benchmark their productivity for performance reviews, and to discover how research findings are being used, how they are being used, how they have been effectively used by other researchers, that we can find from other metrics. And also this can be used to find key researchers in the field and identify potential collaborators and investors for the research. So now I'm moving to the important and major author metrics, and which I'm going to discuss here are the H index, I-10 index, M index, G index, H5 index. And other metrics which can be considered are citations count, the self citations, articles with citations, cited versus uncited documents, citations per paper, FWCI and CNCI. This here the FWCI is field weighted citation impact, and CNCI means the categorized normal citation impact. And I'm moving to discuss the first author metrics, the well-known and very famous metric, that is the H index. You must have heard this metrics. And this metrics you can find in Scopus, Web of Science, SciVal, Insight, Google Scholar, and even the software Publish and Perish that you can use. And I'm going to discuss all about all these things in my next coming slides in metric tools. Here, the H-index is a popular metric, as I mentioned. This can be used to evaluate the performance of the a researcher. That is, this metric has been proposed by J.E. Hirsch in year 2005, and a physicist. He has published this in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America. Here, formula for calculating the H-index is H-index equal to the number of papers, that is H, with the citation number equals to or greater than the number of papers. The citation here will be equals or greater than the papers. So, for example, if an author has a H-index of 6, it means that out of the total number of his published documents by that author or a researcher, 6 of those documents, 6 of his papers have been cited at least for 6 times. So that is considered as his H-index. For example, to know the calculation, how we can calculate the H-index, here I have given, here I am discussing with 2 examples in the tables. You can see in the first table, you can see how we have to rank the publications. In this, we have to list our publications or ranks by the number of publications in increasing order, that is 1, 2, 3. And in the second column, you can see the citations, time cited that publication in decreasing order, total number of citations in decreasing order you have to arrange or a list, and where the number of citations meet the publications where they are equal or greater than the citations are greater than the publication, that is the H-index. So therefore, in this first table, we can consider the 6 as a H-index. And in the second table, you can see another example I have given where the number of citations, underlined item you can see where the citations, number of citation 9 is meeting with the publication number 5. That is higher than the publications. In the next row, you can see the number of citations is lesser than the publication, which we cannot consider it here. And here we have to consider the citation 9, which is equivalent to or greater than the publication. Therefore, the H-index here for the author or a researcher is 5. That can be considered. Now, I am moving to the next metrics, that is M-index. This is very simple and very easy metric. This can be used to comparison of early career and established researchers to analyze them, to evaluate their impact can be measured by using the M-index. Here, the formula for the M-index is equals the H-index divided by the number of years of activity. For example, for considering the numbers, here the H-index considering the 35, and the number of years of activity of the researcher, if we consider it 10 or 12 years, if we dividing the H-index 35 divided by the 10 years, it may come around 3.5. That is the M-index of the researcher or author. And now, moving to the next author metrics, important author metrics, that is the G-index. Actually, G-index has been invented by Leo Ege. This has been introduced as an improvement of the H-index of a Hirsch, that is H-index, to measure the global citation performance of a set of articles, that is G-index, as I mentioned, invented by Leo Ege. Here, to see the calculation, how this G-index has been calculated, how we can calculate. For that reason, I have given one table. Here you can see the ranking of the publications, the number of publications. We have to rank in increasing order by 1, 2, 3, 4. The second column, you can see for the citations column in a decreasing order, how we are arranging it in a H-index. In the third column, that is different, that we have to add, that is cumulative number of citations. The cumulative, the second column will be counted for cumulative numbers that you can see the 40 plus 21 in a second row, and in the third plus 10, that is 71. That is the cumulative number of citations. And in the fourth column, you can see the square of rank. The square of rank here is the rank has been calculated like 2, 1 into 1, into 1 equals to 1, 2 into 2 for making the square rank 4, and 3 3s are 9, 4 4s are 16. The square of rank has been arranged in increasing order. Here, what we have to consider is the number of citations where it is equivalent or greater than the square of rank. In this table, we can see that 114 number of citations is higher than the square of rank, that is 100. Square of rank is 100 and the number of citations is higher than the rank, that is 114. And in the next row, you can see the number of square of rank is 121, but the citations is going below, is lesser than the number of square of rank. Citation is 116, but it is lesser than 121 square rank. Therefore, we have to consider the 114 citation for calculating the G index. Therefore, here the author's G index is 10. That can be considered. I hope you understood this calculating the H index, and in my previous slide M index and G index. Now I am moving to other author metrics, important author metrics, that is H5 index. Here this is same exactly the H index, but as the name only representing H5 index, this is considered to calculate the publications published in 5 years, during the 5 years. So H index for articles published in the last 5 complete years. It is the largest number H, such that H articles published in 2015 to 19, for example of 2000 means published between these 5 years, the H5 index is calculated, and the publications considered here is 5 years. And this metric you can find on Google Scholar. On your own profiles, you can just check, you can, in the right side of your screen, you can find the H5 index provided by Google Scholar. The next, another metrics used by the only, means solely used by the Google Scholar, especially on your profile, you can see another metric, that is I10 index. And this, for calculating the I10 index, it was first introduced by Google Scholar in 2011, and it calculates the number of academic publications of an author has written that have at least 10 citations. Means for any of the researcher output or publications, at least 10 citations for the 10 publications from others. This is one way to gauge the productivity of an author, to evaluate the productivity of an author. Here the formula is I10 index, the number of publications with at least 10 citations. So these are some major author metrics which can be used to evaluate the performance of the authors. The reasons which I had already discussed, these are the major author metrics. And now I'm going to discuss about the next metric, that is article metric. These article metrics that are used to measure or find out the impact of article on other authors. As we have already discussed, author metrics are used to evaluate the author's performance, journal metrics for evaluating the journals, and as I mentioned in the beginning, the article metrics are used to evaluate the performance of articles and how they are performing and what are their impacts. That article metrics are used to evaluate, and these metrics used to identify the most cited articles in any subject area and to find articles on research topic by researchers. And these can be used to determine if an article or a book or journal or particular author has been cited by another work, how they have performed, how they are performing comparing to other researchers. That we can use this metric to find the results. And here the major article metrics are number of publications, citation count, FWCI, CNCI, SNIP, downloads, reads, media mentions, views. These are the major article metrics which we can use to see the performance of the article. And other metrics are outputs in top percentiles and discussions. That also can be considered here. I'm moving to now next slide. Here I have listed some citation databases, but these are a subscribed databases. Here where you can find the total number of publications and citations to those publications, that kind of metrics you can find from these subscribed resources. These are well-known and major databases and widely used in the country and in the world. So I have listed them here. Now I am moving to the next metric, article metric, that is number of publications. Here, number of publications means the total number of publications by the author published in peer-reviewed scholarly journal. And this number of publications can be accessed from, as I mentioned in the previous databases, including the Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, Google Scholar, etc. And this number of articles by journal can be accessed from any journal or the publisher sites. Nowadays, the journal sites and publisher sites also provide the number of publications by the individual authors. By hitting the individual author's name, you can find these or a list of publications or the number of publications. And the next metric I'm moving, that is citation count or the times cited. The number of times an article has been cited, the total number of citations for the article. This number will be dependent on the sources covered. For example, the different databases, as I mentioned, Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, Google Scholar, and the number of sources they are covering. That is purely depending upon, these citations are depending upon the journal sources they are covering in their databases. And citation count is a simple metric. It's a simple measure of attention for a particular article, journal, or a researcher to know to the performance or the effect of article, journal, or a researcher. Now I am moving to a next metric, that is field weighted citation impact. That is FWCI, a very popular metric and widely used metric nowadays. This shows how well citation an article is and when compared to similar articles. So this FWCI citation impact metrics and score for FWCI you can find in Scopus database, particularly in Scival database. You can find here for FWCI, an FWCI of an 1 means the score of FWCI of the article is, if it is 1, means that the output performs just as expected against the global average. More than 1 means that the output is more cited than expected according to the global average. So they're here considering the global average for the publications. For example, 1.48 is the FWCI for an article. It means that the 48% more cited than the expected. And if we consider the 2.11 is the FWCI of an article, means it is 111% more than the world average, more cited than the world average. And for calculating the FWCI, there is a formula, and that is the total number of citations received by a document divided by the expected. Here the noting, you have to note the point is expected number of citations for similar documents. So for calculating this one, the Scopus that considers the irrespective of subject areas and publication year or the output type. And for this one, citations received up to 3 complete calendar years after publication are considered. So this is very useful resource for evaluating the performance of or effect of article, and the author also can be evaluated by using this metric. The next metric to consider for discussing is here is the category normalized citation impact, CNCI. Here, for easily understanding, I would like to say this is the FWCI version of Web of Science. The FWCI scores the metrics, the impact you can find in a Scopus and Scival, but the CNCI you can find in Web of Science and Insights. This is a very simple calculation, and these documents calculate by dividing the actual count of citing items by the expected citation rate for documents with the same document type, year of publication, and subject area. So when a document is assigned to more than one subject area, an average of the ratios of the actual to expected citations is used. Here it is similar with the FWCI. If the CNCI equals to 1, this represents performance at par with the world expectation average, and a CNCI value of 2 is considered twice the world's average, like the FWCI in my previous slide as I have discussed. Here the formula for calculating category normalized citation impact is the equals to actual count of citing items, the number of items, divided by expected citation rate for documents of the same document type, publication year, and subject field. So output will be the CNCI of the article in Web of Science and Insights. And I'm moving to the next article metric, that is source normalized impact per paper. This I have already discussed in the journal metrics. Therefore, I'm going to skip this because I already explained. And the next metric I would like to consider here for discussion is article views and downloads. Some publishers provide the information to authors about the number of times the article was viewed. For the full text, it may be for the full text, for the abstract view, and or downloaded from the publisher website. This may be only for the author level articles. And nowadays, some of the preprint repositories may also provide this information. You must have seen in several journals, they are providing in the below the, it may be in the below the article or in the right side or the left side, they are giving the number of views in a small window, or you can see in a right side table, in a table or in a separate metrics with the heading of metrics, they mention the number of article views and downloads. That we'll discuss in my next slides, how these details or metrics have been provided on different sites. And now I'm moving to the next metric, that is the book metrics. These are used to evaluate the performance, to see the impact of the book on researchers. It is generally more difficult to find the citation to books than to journal articles, because journal articles and for individual authors, so we can find in any database and immediately we can find. But for the books, it may not be immediately mentioned by the other researchers or other authors. They may not have mentioned, and covering and accumulating the citations for the books is very difficult. But the citations for books you can find on Scopus, Web of Science, and Google Scholar, and all these include some citing references to books. Here, the important major metrics which I'm going to discuss are the citations, downloads, views, reads, site score, media mentions, library holdings, reviews and ratings, course syllabuses. These are major and important metrics for evaluating any book. There are other several metrics which we can use to evaluate. or to see the performance or effect of the book. First, we can find, I would like to mention and I would like to discuss here where we can find the book metrics that are on in our own library catalogs. So in library catalog, you can find the availability of the book where it has been selected, thoroughly evaluated before purchasing. So if it is available in different library catalogs, means that has a good impact, that has a good quality. And even this we can find in different union catalogs, like for example world catalog and our own indcat holdings, where we can find the availability of these books in different libraries. And by transactions in our own libraries, the number of time it has been transacted, issues and returns, by knowing by finding these numbers, we can understand the quality of the book. And the institute syllabuses and their course reading mentions for the books, and the Google Books, where Google Books and Amazon.com site, where they provide the book book scores and the reviews, the scores for individual titles with stars, and the views and reviews by the visitors and the users. And altmetric attention score, where we can find the metrics for books, and blog mentions, news mentions can also be considered, and reviews published in a print version or online versions that we can consider for evaluating the books. And also the citations for the books and book chapters, and downloads, books and book chapters, media mentions, that includes including Twitter's, Facebook posts, likes and shares, Wikipedia mentions, and monograph sales and rankings in different online bookshops, and Mendeley readers, ratings, that is very much important, and it's the scores, and policy mentions and in policy documents, that are again the very important documents which we can consider for evaluating the quality or finding the quality of books. And some examples for finding the reviews or the quality of books. Some example are like London Review of Books, New York Review of Books, where you can find the reviews about the book. Times Literary Supplement, one of the again the important review of books. Then Kirkus Reviews, that is another reviews. Then Bookwire, the Book Review, the Atlantic Monthly Books and Critics. And another important database, that is ACM Computing Reviews, you must have heard. This is for one example for the subject reviews in the area of computer science. This is an online database, but it is subscribed, not freely available for the reviews. So now I am moving to the next metric, that is the institutional metrics. Here we can consider the major metrics are the research output of the institute, the benchmarking, collaboration metrics, and ranking metrics can be considered for the performance of the or effect of the institutes. Here we can discuss about the institution metrics. The institution metrics measure an institution's overall impact based on the publications of its authors, means the faculty members of the institute, and the number of times they have been cited. And also this metrics, institutional metrics, can be used to quantify the return on research investments they have funded for the research, to see the effect of the research grant they have allocated for the research, that we can evaluate it using these institutional metrics. And collaboration metrics, as I mentioned, the collaboration metrics can be used to provide the information on research partnerships of academic entities from institutions, research groups of individual resources. And these collaboration and benchmarking metrics may be used to the demonstrate capacity to build collaborative research partnerships, means the collaborative research outputs, research publications, and researches, and to provide the evidence of interdisciplinary collaborations in national, local, or the international level, and also to demonstrate, to show the research capacity and to productive research engagements and collaborations, that may be the internal or for the external within the department. It can be the institutes within performance or the capacity of the departments within the departments, and the same departments even can be evaluated, benchmarked with the same kind of departments with other institutes. And the institute level, it can be from one institute with other institutes in the national, or even it can be the from the different states, or for the international level. We can use this this benchmarking and collaboration metrics, and also benchmark globally against other researchers from the institute researcher. For example, Gujarat University researchers or the faculty can be benchmarked with other institute faculties in the same might be in the same city, in the Ahmedabad or in the Gujarat, or national level, other state level institutes or the universities, and provide evidence of this. By using this metrics, we can provide the evidence of engagement with industry, government, or community, our collaboration researches, their outputs, and by benchmarking, we can provide the output of our institutional performances. So now I'm moving to, I've completed this institutional metrics and moving to the alternative metrics. Here, the meaning of alternative metrics, these are the new metrics alternative to other our traditional other metrics, citation metrics, which we already discussed in my previous slides, that are based on the citations and reviews and other methods. But these are the new metrics emerged, and nowadays have a very impactful performances and evaluation performances they are providing for evaluating the impact. And here, for the major considerations considered are altmetrics and plum mathematics, impact story, loss, peer. These are major considerations of research metrics, which provide different indicators for evaluating the performance of books or authors or articles or institutions. And apart from these, we can consider altmetric attention scores, Mendeley readership, then Wikipedia citations and mentions, news mentions, Facebook post, comment, shares, and likes. Commonly, if we are liking the books, automatically it will be calculated by these alternative metrics. Or peer comments, if anyone is commenting, any author or researcher is commenting about the book, that is immediately calculated by these altmetrics. And Twitter mentions, Publons scores. These are the different alternative metrics which can be now considered. And these metrics are complementary to the traditional. As I mentioned, these are in addition to our citation-based metrics. By using this one, we can visualize our papers or publication online attention, how it is being used or read by others. And the next one is discovering the new scholarly articles in 100 of disciplines. That is counted by these altmetrics and used to assess the scholar's research impact in academia and beyond. Other than the academic sites or academic research sites, these metrics are considered even from the social medias, and showcasing research impact of publications, and monitoring searches and measure conversations in different sites, and adding value to libraries and institutional repositories. By putting these altmetrics, you must have seen the donut of the altmetrics, and you must have seen the dimensions dimensions with numbers, and also plum analytics you must have seen. That will give good impact, that will add a value to the library databases, sites, or institutional repositories. And so these metrics can be used to track the article level metrics for institutions research output. So these are very, as I mentioned, these are these have a very important, impactful role and considered as a important metrics nowadays by the institutes or by the repositories or databases. So till now I have discussed about the different research metrics and how we can use them, how we can calculate them for evaluating the performance, the effect of articles, author, and the institutions and the books, and how they're performing and how we can use them to find the return on the investment or evaluating the research grants and evaluating the research performances. Now, in coming next slides, I'm going to discuss about the metric tools to measure the impact. Here, I'm going to cover different databases and different sites, which provide, means by using this, you can get the ready-made numbers. You can evaluate the publications of the researcher or the publications or articles of the journal, or you can directly evaluate the journal or the performance of institute, or you can benchmark the one institute with other institutes by using these databases. Ready-madely you can get the results. No need to manually calculate. In my previous slides, I have discussed about the different metrics and formulas how to calculate. But here, in my next slide, you can get the ready-made tools where you can find the results. The first tool I'm going to discuss here is the very well-known site, that is Web of Science database from Clarivate Analytics. This is the subscribed database. From using this database, you can find the numbers for, you can find the metrics for total number of publications for author, the times cited, the citations for the articles, and H-index for the author and for the articles, and publication years, document types, funding agencies, organizations, authors, source titles, and different metrics have been provided in the Web of Science database, which you can select any of these by using the filters, and you can generate for any period provided by the Web of Science. You can generate the ready-made report from using the Web of Science. And I'm now moving to the next database, that is from the Web of Science, Clarivate Analytics, that is Insights. There are two images of the insight. You can see the insight first, previous insight screen is given, and in the front you can see in a colored image, that is the new screen of insight. Just in a day or 2 days back, just it has been implemented with a new new designed site has been launched by the Insights. By using this one, you can evaluate the researchers by the organizations, by the locations, means by the country, by the places. You can evaluate, you can judge, you can analyze the research outputs, and by research areas and journal, books, conference proceedings, and by the funding agencies. For the funds and funding agency, performances also can be evaluated by using Insights. In the Insight, you can, as I mentioned, it is a database that comes from the Web of Science, and particularly this is used to measure the publications, researchers, and institutes. This provides the metrics, indicators for evaluating the total publications, times cited. You can find the H-index, category normalized citation impact, particularly this is from the Web of Science, CNCI is and percentage of documents cited that you can ready-madely for the particular period, for the particular author you can generate, then percentage of documents in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 and 4 journals. Percentage documents in top percentiles, in 1 percentile and 10 percentiles, that you can generate ready-madely data here. And percentage of highly cited papers and documents in journal impact factor for the journals, and documents in total number of documents cited, and documents. Earlier I have discussed that are percentage of documents cited. Here the number of documents in quarter 1, 2, 3, 4 journals, documents in top 1% and 10 percentiles. These are values here. Previously you can generate the report for percentages as well as in values. Then highly cited papers, average percentile, citation impact, research areas, impact relative to world. Institutional analysis can be done using this insights. Funding agencies can be evaluated for the fundings, for the research grants, and percentage of industry collaborations, percentage of international collaborations, industry collaborations, international collaborations. Then the percentage of green published documents, percentage of other gold documents, color documents. All open access documents also can be evaluated or generated the reports. Then by color wise, like bronze, DOAJ gold, green accepted, green published, other gold documents, and percentage of corresponding authors, percentage of first author, then the percentage of last author for the period of 2008 to 2020 we can generate. Also the first author and last author can also be, the value for the first author and the last author can also be generated for the period from 2008 and 20. These are very important important tools to generate the reports for publications, researchers and institutes. Next, I'm moving to next slide, that is the Clarivate's Analytics Insights Journal Citation Reports, JCR, that is used to rank or to evaluate the journal's performance. This is again the subscribed database from Web of Science, and here you can find the metrics for journals by rank and categories by journal categories by rank, and journal impact factor quartiles, that is quarter 1, 2, 3 and 4, and journal impact factor percentiles range, and by JCR abbreviated titles, and total citations for the journal, for the different journal titles, and journal impact factor for the different titles indexed by the Web of Science, and impact factor without journal self citations, that also can be generated here, and 5-year impact factor, another metric, can be used here. And also, as I discussed in my previous slide, the immediacy index can also be generated, citable items, normalized eigen factor, cited half-life, citing half-life, eigen factor score, article influence score, ISSN for the individual titles can be listed here, and percentage of articles in cited items, and ISSN wise data we can generate by providing the ISSN numbers. We can generate different evaluations, and average journal impact factor percentiles also can be generated by using this Insights JCR. And this JCR report can also be used to rank and evaluate the journals by the librarians. They can use this citation reports for the renewal or for the new subscriptions of the journals, and researcher can use this JCR reports for publishing their publications, their articles, papers. They can select this one. The next tool, moving to the next slide, the next metric tool is a Scopus, the database. Like the Web of Science, Scopus is another database for indexing database, which the coverage of Scopus is more than the Web of Science, and where you can find documents by author. You can generate the report for total citations, author H index you can find here, co-authorship you can find, cited by, reports you can generate, cited by articles you can find here, field weighted citation impact. As I have mentioned, FWCI can be generated by the Scopus. It lists the FWCI for the individual articles, articles of the publishers. And PlumX metrics can also be found on individual articles page. By hitting the articles, you can find this PlumX metrics. And you can find the site score for individual articles. You can generate the reports. And topic-wise metrics you can generate. And most contributed topics also can be generated by Scopus database. And now I'm moving to the next database, that is Scival, that uses the Scopus database as a source. From here, from the Scival database, you can generate the reports in 5 categories. First one is the overview, benchmarking, collaboration, trends, and reporting. Here in the Scival database from Scopus, from the Elsewhere's Scopus, here you can find the different metrics and indicators for the publications for generating the reports. Here you can use different metrics like the published. Under the published, you can find scholarly output, subject area count, Scopus source title count, and H index for the individual authors. And views in view, under the views, views in top views, percentiles, views per publication, field weighted views impact. Here in this in these metrics, you can use multiple number of metrics from any of these categories. You can select and generate the reports. And next metric, that is cited in Scival, you can generate the report for citations count, the total number of citations. And important thing is here you can generate the FWCI field weighted impact, citation impact for the individual articles. And outputs in top citation percentiles, publications in journal quartiles, publications in top journal percentiles, citations per publication, cited publications. And under the economic impact metrics, you can generate report for academic corporate collaborations and their impact, citing patents count, means the total citations for the patents, and patent cited scholarly output, patent citations count, patent citations per scholarly output. Like this, you can select different metrics to generate your research report. And also you can further you can use societal impact, like for mass media, media exposure, field weighted mass media, collaboration. Under the collaboration, you can generate collaboration impact, academic corporate collaboration and their impact. And you can even select the awarded grant metrics for finding the volume of awards. So now I am moving to the next metric, metric tool, that is Scopus sources. Here you can use the Scopus sources for evaluating or to find the impact of the journals. Here you can use this database for the performance scores of all Scopus covered journals. And you can here find the site score for the journals and highest percentiles, then citations for the articles and the journals, documents and cited items, and source normalized impact per factor, SNIP, and Scimago journal ranking for the journals. And you can also list or generate the report for journal quartiles. Is one of the important journal evaluating tool, metric tool. And now I'm coming to our own Indian citation index. That is another metric tool, our own Indian product. By using this Indian citation index, for this you have to register, and for using the full database you have to subscribe this through your institute or a library. And by registering, you can find the numbers for your number for publications for the journals or by the author or for the institutes, and citations, then references you can generate, institution analyzer you can use, data comparer you can use, and you can use the journal analyzer for evaluating the journal titles. And I'm moving next tool, that a metric tool, that is Google Scholar, very well known and famous, and most of you are using this one, the Google Scholar, very much a very popular tool that is widely used by many members. That is used for finding the publication of any author, then the citations for those publications, published articles, and you can find the H index, H5 index. Here I have not mentioned, but that is H index and H5 index also you can find, and I-10 index of the authors for their publications. On the authors or researchers profile you can find all these metrics, and also citations to the individual articles. By searching in Google Scholar search form you can generate the report. Then now I'm moving to another metric tool, that is Google Scholar Metrics. You must have heard this also. This metric tool has been used to evaluate the journals. The Google Scholar Metrics provides the journal rankings and ratings by using Google Scholar Metrics. By using this one, you can find the H index, H core, H median index for the journal titles. Here, Google Scholar has listed top 100 journals. In the screenshot, you can see. In the second screenshot, you can see the subcategories. Here, all the journals have been categorized, listed under different subject categories. So this is free and important metric tools which we can use on the web. And moving to another metric tool like Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic is also the free tool, but this requires a user registration. The researcher or author or a user has to sign up. Free registration has to be made here. And here you can find the numbers for the publications, for the authors, for the topics, for the publications covered in this, and total citations for these publications. And here you can categorize the publications by topics. As I mentioned, this is again a free tool where you can use freely. And I'm moving to another free tool, that is SJR, the Simego Journal and Country Rank. This uses the Scopus database. As I mentioned, freely you can get the metrics for journals rank. Here you can find the top journals ranked. Means all the journals have been ranked here, listed here with the ranks, and you can find the H index for the journal titles. You can find the journals by subject area. You can find the journals by country rank. You can generate the report by country wise, and only WOS means Web of Science journals you can select. And also you can find the graphs, charts for data visualization and comparing journals and countries on the SJR site. That is the free site, you can use it. I'm moving to the next slide. That is another tool, that is eigenfactor.org. On this site, you can find the eigenfactor scores for the journals. Here, the eigenfactor metrics you can find, and article influence score you can find from the eigenfactor scores, and cost effectiveness scores also you can find. And on this site, you can journal prices as well as site influence you can evaluate and find. And article influence scores are completely free and completely searchable. And here on this site, you can find fee-based open access journals evaluation and no fee open access journals evaluation, and the metrics and scores you can find, and you can generate the visualization on this eigenfactor. That is freely you can use. These all sites can be used for evaluating the articles, publications, as I mentioned, and some of these like eigenfactor and SJR can be used for evaluating the journal performance. And the next site here, I would like to mention the metric tool, that is a CiteSeer X. This is the free citation database, and where on this site, you can find the literature in computer and information science. And for this literature, you can find the metrics for most cited documents, most cited citations, most cited authors, autonomous citation index, that is ACI, called as ACI, and citation statistics and citation context. Apart from the number of publications and number of citations, you can find all these tools. This is a free online tool which you can use to get or generate or evaluate your research performances. The next tool is the mentioned here is CWTS journal indicators, that is hosted by University of Leiden and Scopus. This site uses the Scopus database, Scopus sources. From this, you can find the indicators for journals indexed in the Scopus database, and you can find the SNIP source normalized impact per paper metrics for the articles and the journals. Then number of publications you can find in the journal, impact per publication you can find, and the percentage of self citations also you can generate by using this free database. So now I'm moving to the next slide, that is American standards for journals and research. Particularly this is meant for the America, but we can use this site for finding the impact factor subject wise and year wise for the journals. Here this site provides this site listed top 30 publishers, that is year wise they have given. You can select the year and you can find the top 30 publishers for the selected year. So here you can find the list freely. The next tool I'm moving, that is Herzing's Publish and Perish. This is very well known and famous freely available software. This is a free tool you can download on your system, on any of your Linux, Mac or Windows system. You can download and use. This has been invented by Dr. Herzings, and it is available freely. By using this Publish and Perish, it can be this can be used to search cross-ref citations, Google Scholar metrics for finding the metrics, and Google Scholar profiles it searches, and it searches PubMed, Microsoft Academic Search, and also for the subscribed databases like Scopus, which requires a free registration here, and Web of Science, which requires a subscription actually. So other databases are freely. For them you can generate the report by entering the user's name or your own name. You can try and you can get the metrics or report you can generate. And this works with Google Scholar data to generate the metrics for authors, journals and articles. Here you can generate total number of papers. You can find the total number of papers for the author or for the journal, or for the articles published in a journals that you can find, and total citations for the articles or for the journals or authors, and average number of citations per paper, average number of citations per paper, average number of papers per author, and average number of citations per year, and H index and G index also you can find on this software free tool. It's a very small and very light software you can download and use from the online, from the Herzing's site. You can download this one, and also you can generate the contemporary H index, the age weighted citation rate, individual H index for two types, the H5 and H indexes, and number of authors per paper you can generate by using this free tool. Now I'm moving to the next tool, that is Yes Site. This is very interesting tool, really available online. This site here, the Yes Site means here the S represent the smart citations. Here this platform for discovering and evaluating scientific articles via smart citations. This provides information smartly. That's why it is called as a smart citations. Here this provides a number of citations and evidence for the cited claim. If you are searching any article or for the any author for his publications, or searching the title by entering the keywords or the title or by DOI, you can find the for citations for those items plus evidence for the cited claim. Not only the citations, evidence you will get. For example, for in the evidence, you can get the supporting citation, number of citings, supporting citations, and how they are supporting these citations, and mentionings where these citations have been mentioned, for which paper these have been mentioned. That information you can find from this site. And also disputing and contradicting. If somebody has contradicting statement for the publication, that mentions that citation also you can find in this uh, yes site, that is smart citations site. And also important, one more important feature this site has, the visualize the report whatever you are selected or you wanted to generate. That is very much important, and this is freely available site. You can freely sign up to this site and generate your reports. I'm moving to the next tool, next metric tool, that is a PubMed site, where you can search freely. This is a free search engine accessing primarily the Medline database. For all the publications, you can use this site, and for the publications, you can find the citations and the number of citations, and for them who have cited this, means the cited by information you can find from this tool. And now I am moving to the next metric tool, that is eyesight. That is a new analysis by the PubMed. This uses the PubMed database only. Here you can use this eyesight tool to find out the total number of publications and to generate the report for publications per year, total number of citations you can find, and the citations per publications you can generate, and relative citation ratio, that is called as RCR, that also you can find it here. And weighted RCR, total conferences. Citation data are drawn from PubMed Central, European PubMed Central, Crossref, and Web of Science. Here you can generate all these reports free of cost. No need to pay or subscribe anything. And the next tool is SSRN. That is earlier, the previous name of this SSRN is Social Science Research Network. Here, this you can use. SSRN is open access online preprint community. Here you can find, you can generate the report for top papers and for top authors of these papers and top organizations in the area, and publications, downloads per author, downloads per paper, citations per author, citations per paper. Also you can generate the report and analyze the author or a publication or his publications from using this tool. And now I am moving to the next metric tool, that is Publons. This is freely available resource research tool from Web of Science. By logging into this site, by registering yourself, you can generate researcher ID, which can be directly used by the Web of Science. If you are searching any author's publications or author in Web of Science, you can find this researcher ID. So that you can generate for yourself freely by registering by using this Publons. By using Publons, you can find articles and citations that can be imported from Web of Science core collection. If you have any publications indexed in Web of Science, that directly can be imported in article, means that can be imported in this Publons. And publications in Web of Science can also be linked here directly, imported here. Then times cited means the citations. Then you can find the H index for the authors or for yourself. And you can find the reviews, citations per items, citations per year. And one more very beautiful feature this site has, this builds the public reviewer profiles. That is very important feature this Publon has, that you can use it freely by registering yourself. by registering your email ID. And the next tool I'm going to discuss about is the PLOS, the Public Library of Science. This is the free tool. Again, you can use it for yourself. This is PLOS is a non-profit and open access publisher. This publishes the publications, the articles you can find. And the article you can, by using this site, in the site, you can find the article level metrics, ALM, that are called as a ALM application you can find for the articles indexed in this site. You can find the views for the articles, for the publications, the downloads, and total number of downloads you can find, bookmarked, how many bookmark you have, tweets, how many tweet for the individual titles, where it is, means whom it is cited, and number of citations, number of shares by the researchers, the discussions they are making, and the altmetric scores you can find on the PLOS. This is one of the, again, the free tool you can use it. The next one is Eminer. You can call it as A minor or Eminer. The academic research social network. Here in this database, you can see the millions of researchers and citations for those publications you can find. And using this site, by registering this site, you can find the conference rankings that rank conferences in computer science by impact factor. The impact factor rankings for the conference ranks you can find. Then organizations ranks by different metrics. Then researcher ranks by various metrics you can find in this site. And best papers versus top cited papers you can find in the area of computer science, and ranking by H index, G index, and number of citations, number of papers, and sociability and diversity you can find on this site. But in the area of computer science, please note that this site can be used for computer science literature and for the computer science researchers. And next, the very important and widely used site by the researchers in the world. That is, you can find, using this site, you can find, you can meet, you can collaborate with the world renowned and well-known researchers in different fields. This is an open access publishing platform where you can generate the reports for the views and download for the articles, and PubMed Central views and downloads you can find on this site. And you can find the citations from Scopus, PubMed, and Google Scholar citations on this F1000 or F1000 research site. This is very well known and very widely used site by the researchers in the world. And here you can find the altmetric scores for the articles and the publications, and even you can find the dimension scores. So now I'm moving to the next tool, that is the publication forum. This is one more important tool where you can find the publication forum rating to the publishers. And for publishers, series, conferences, and book publishers, you can find the scores on this free tool. You can just sign into this and select the language for the English, and you can start using this for finding the ratings for publishers. And next, one more important tool, that is the GPRC. Here the GPRC means guaranteed peer-reviewed content. This you can use for evaluating, to find the quality of the book. You can find the impact of the book by using this site. Here you can find peer-reviewed according to international academic standards. This is very important side where they are following the international academic standards to review the books. And by using, or in this site, it demonstrates the table of content of the publication in questions. By using the questions, it provides table of content for the publications. and affiliation of the reviewers who are reviewing this book, and chronological order of the main phase in the review procedure, and minimum 2 review reports also you can find on each book, and format confirmation that the reviewer authorizes publication with the quality label. So here in this site, each book you can find with the GPRC tag or a code or a label you can find on each book for the quality. And now I am moving to one more very popular metric tool, that is Academia Edu. This is actually an academic or research network. By registering yourself or logging into this site by using the Facebook sign up or Google sign up, you can log in and create your profiles in this, or you can search for the publications, or you can search for the authors or researchers here. Here you can find the number of publications for the author or total number of publications in the subject area. You can find the views, profile views, document views, top countries, viewing your profile, and documents views, the different metrics you can find for the different publications. Also, you can find the number of downloads, number of readers who are using this publication, and who are following you or the researcher or the publications, and followers to your publication, whom you are following, who all are following you and your publications, and visitors to your site, that also you can find in this on this site, or for any researchers. And another academic and research network is a ResearchGate, very famous site, very well known and popular site, that is called as a ResearchGate. This provides RG score for individual authors or publications. That is for publications, research, total number of publications you can find on the site or in the profiles of individual researchers. And as a research items, you can find here. Then total number of citations for the individual articles, and reads full, and even the for full text reads, different number, 2 numbers you can find. And you can find numbers for the views of the articles. If somebody is just viewing, you can find that numbers, and downloads, number of downloads, and the number of recommendations for these articles, and for the authors or researchers, and research interest. And even you can, or any researcher can post the questions. For that also, the individual researchers will get a scores, and even answers to the questions posted by others you can answer, and for that also you can get the scores. For individual authors can find, you can get the scores by posting the questions and by posting the answers to the questions made by others. And now moving to another metric tool, that is scienceopen.com, where which is a freely accessible research network to share and evaluate the scientific information, the scientific publications, where you can find the article and author level metrics. You can find the scores or numbers for views, cited, means the citation numbers, all the metric scores, and you can find even the reviews for those articles. It's a free tool. Again, you can register freely and start using this website. And the next tool is Impact Story. This is one, again, the very popular site. And this creates a personal altmetric reports based on the citations claimed in Impact Story profiles. This provides you a profile where you can find different metrics. This uses ORCID identifier, ORCID ID. For the authors, you can directly import your publications by using the ORCID ID, entering the ORCID ID, and you can get the citations for those publications for the author or researcher for yourself. And bookmarks, you can find bookmark numbers and number of times downloaded, number of times tweeted, and where it is tweeted, and other mentions also you can find on Impact Story. This helps you in increasing your citations, this Impact Story, and this helps in increasing the bookmarks, downloads, and also helps in increasing the tweets and other social media mentions. So this is not only for provide, this tool can be used for finding the metrics. It can be used to popularize your research information, research publications. And another free tool that you can use is Kudos, Kudos, Kudos. That is free for researcher. You can sign into this site by registering yourself. This combines the citations count from Web of Science and Altmetric from altmetric.com site. This provides the numbers for citations, downloads, discussions, readership, and altmetrics counts you can find on this Kudos site. Another important and popular site is Mendeley.com. Here you can find the Mendeley readership is calculated as the number of unique Mendeley users. That is unique feature of this site. And here you can find the readership data. For data, Mendeley personal libraries and user supplied data it provides. And Mendeley profiles can be used for publications from Scopus ID that you can find from Mendeley. The next metric tool you can use is dimensions. This is very well-known metric now, very well-known and very popular. New emerged alternative metrics. So this covers journal articles, books, book chapters, preprints, conference proceedings, grants, data sets, clinical trials, patents, and for policy documents. Here you can find the metrics for or generate the reports. You can find the reports for authors, number of publications, total publication citations, citations average, recent citations, then recent citations average, altmetrics, then FCR, that is field citation ratio, FCR average, FCR field citation ratio, then RCR average, altmetric attention score, altmetric attention average. You can see the many different metrics this dimension is providing, that is free of cost on a different sites. You can find this one. Now many repositories, articles, databases, and journal databases, they are implementing, they are including, they are providing this dimension scores on their site. And another very popular site nowadays is Altmetric, the alternative metrics. This is again the alternative metrics. This provides a free bookmarklets, and those can be used freely to track article impact on journal sites and repositories. Wherever you want, you can use. And for the librarians also, there is a tool which you can download, and as a extension to your browser, you can download and use to see the performance altmetric of score of the individual articles. Or for the libraries also, you can use this tool for evaluating or finding the metrics for your users or for your institute faculty members. It tracks and reports conversations and attention of a work from thousands of online resources, and including mainstream news outlets, policy documents, and social media. And Altmetric is presenting these scores by using the different color scores in a donut format. You must have seen in different sites or in repositories, you must have seen a donut with number mentioning in the center of that donut. It may be 5, 2, 1 or any number that shows the metric of the metric or the scores of that article, the score of altmetric score of that publication. So if you are hitting on that, if you are taking your cursor or moving the cursor, mouse cursor, it will open with the color metrics, color indicators for different items, and it provides the numbers for those colors. And then now I'm moving to the another tool, that is Plum Analytics. This also provide a small tool which can be implemented on any journal database, article databases, journal article databases, and the repositories. This is also a free tool where you can use and you can find the number for your publications, for your faculty publications or your institute performance. You can find by using this Plum Analytics. This provides the metrics in different indicators uses different categories and provides a different indicators. And in that first category is citations. In that you can find citation indexes, patent citations, clinical citations, policy citations. So different type of citations you can find on this using this Plum Analytics. And you can find usage, the number of clicks, number of downloads, number of views, library holdings, videos, plays. And also you can find the captures, bookmarks, code forks, then favorites, readers, then watchers who have watched your publication and your site or a profile. Mentions also, log posts, comments, reviews, Wikipedia references, news media, and also you can find social media mentions like shares, likes, comments, and tweets. This, as I mentioned, this provides a free tool which you can use it on your article databases and repositories. And now I'm moving to another metric tool, that is Colorimeter. It's a extension. It's a small extension to Chrome and Firefox. Using this, you can generate the crowdsourced build annotations and citation impact, citations per paper, papers per authors. This is a free extension you can download and install on your web browsers. And I'm moving to the next metric tool, that is a PubPeer. It's a post-publication peer review platform where you can use this site for search for publications and provide feedback and or start a conversation anonymously for the publications. You can find the reviews for your publications. By using the reviews, you can analyze, you can evaluate the quality of the publications. This is very good site, free tool you can use. Next free tool is evaluating the journals, that is journal prizes. Now, very soon it is going to retire, as I have given the note in the bottom. You can see from using this site, you can find the journals by price and price per article and price per citations. No need to calculate manually. This site provides you ready-made data, but this is now going to retire soon. And the next important tool for finding the metrics for the use of books and evaluating the quality of book, you can find on the different syllabuses that you can find in one place, that is Open Syllabus Project. Here you can find the titles rank for the titles or books listed here or indexed here, covered here, and authors and authors listed in this, authors published the books, and field wise data you can find here. Here the schools means the institutes whose syllabuses have been indexed here, covered here, and the countries, different country wise you can find the syllabuses here, and the publisher who published this publication, that information you can find, and the appearances, where it is, how many, in how many fields it is appearing, that numbers you can find on this site. This is very free and very good source of information for finding the quality of books and free book. So here till now I have discussed many freely available resources and metrics which you can freely use for evaluating your resources. Now here I am completing, and in the conclusion we can find that the suitable metrics must be selected to evaluate the impact and influence of articles, authors, journals, books, and institutes. The metrics should be suitable. We have to evaluate, we have to find the correct, we have to select the correct metrics for evaluating our resources or any researcher. And knowledge of evaluation metrics can help in judging the quality of research publications. That is another conclusion I would like to mention here. And to analyze the research impact of publications, researchers and librarians must have the knowledge of citation receiving rate patterns, as they are different from one subject to another. and cannot be compared, because the citation receiving rate in science and technology is very faster comparing to the social science, and comparing to the humanities and arts, it is very faster. So the citation receiving rate and citations numbers will be different in comparing with subject to another subject. And metrics can help in evaluating the performance of researcher, but no metrics can replace a human opinion to evaluate the works of a researcher. It's a final conclusion. There are several free tools or several databases which can provide the different metrics, but the human opinion on these metrics and the metrics generated reports is very much important. So here I am finishing my completing my presentation, and I would like to say special thanks to the director UGC HRDC Gujarat University Ahmedabad for inviting me and organizing this refresher course, and my special thanks to Professor Atul Bhattji, Associate Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, Gujarat University Ahmedabad, who is my close friend too. So I would like to say him a special thanks, and my sincere thanks to Dr. Yogesh Parekh, in charge librarian, Gujarat University Ahmedabad, for inviting me and giving this opportunity to present in this refresher course. And my big thanks to the technical team in coordinating the recording of this presentation, especially Akshar Jalaji. Thank you, Aksharji. And thanks to all participants, the very big thanks to all participants of this refresher course in Library and Information Science on building next generation academic libraries, preservances and transformation. Thanks to all of you and all the best. Thank you.